Hello, my name is Sandy Coyne-Gilbert, and I'm incredibly interested in the development of strong relationships online in our classrooms. This presentation, Being Seen Without Being Seen, is a short consideration of this topic. So let me begin by asking you a question. What do I look like? What does my laugh sound like? In general, if you were to walk by me on the street, could you pick me out? The answer is clear. You don't know me, or at least the me which would be the beginning of a typical relationship. So therein lies the problem. You don't know me, and you won't know me in the traditional way when we work together online. This does present a problem, but it presents an opportunity as well. So this presentation is intended to focus on some general statements about getting past this issue and building learning community relationships that guide great discussion and student engagement. Here is an incredible quote. Ellen Cerniglia is actually an elementary school teacher. And when you consider her comment about electronic encounters, a single point always comes to my mind: intentionality. We can't change online, but we can learn to navigate the opportunities presented in this environment in a more powerful and engaging manner. If you do take Cernigilia's comment to heart, everything we do online in a class can influence how a student feels about instructors, other students, and themselves. So, what does it mean to be seen? You have to acknowledge people and recall things about them or comments they have made. What they do in the classroom must matter to each instructor and be evident to the student. How do you do it? Again, the word intentionality comes to mind. Communicate often and with intention. Begin to help students to model the practice you show them in order to effectively perform. You don't have to be on stage, but an active participant, aware of what is going on. Parker and Parker stated that sharing a welcoming feeling and participating actively to engage students and reinforce their roles in the class can truly add a strong and dynamic element. Exter, Kormaz, Harlan, and Bitchmeyer indicated that if you do not encourage and include students, they begin to feel posting a discussion is like putting a note in a bottle and just watching it disappear. It makes no difference. If you promise something, keep the promise. Baccanio and Seaman shared, to be successful for students and faculty, the environment must be humanistic, full of active engagement and feedback. Let every student know you ask a question, you will get a response. Have multiple means of contacting students. It is really important. So I share relationship building with students. I make it their responsibility too. It's not just one way. I know they feel I can't see them, and so they can't see me either. But my comments and well-taken notes on each student help me, believe me. Begin presenting guides to students to see you and what you share online. I remind students frequently. Relationships are give and take. Let me know how it's working. Don't like to write? Well, how would you like to express yourself? Videos, audios, YouTube, TED Talks. Are there any way that you would really like to use an assignment to express yourself? All the different ways that I can give people an opportunity, I have modeled in my classroom. Students can still select the paper, but many find the idea of literally working with me to craft an assignment specifically for them to be an engagement experience. Cerniglia said, really reinforce how more students online get connected with you with a careful use of guidance and opportunities. Maybe it's even more than we could connect with in a regular on-ground class. So, the rules of the road. It's really important to remember as a student, sometimes even a student with amazing ideas and work, I, as a student, still need the attention of the instructor as a guide, a person who can help me to move beyond my concerns to truly learn. Mott suggests the use of office hours in a synchronous manner, as well as introduction videos. I also record a video each week and begin each with a chatty approach, ending with what's coming up for the week in terms of topics, discussion, work, and how we're moving towards the end of the course project. It is important to consider students are afraid of rejection. They can't see your response to questions or ideas, and if you don't respond to them, they have heard one thing loud and clear: your dislike for them as people. Naturally, you have not felt this way, but your silence speaks volumes. Students who do not know you will have this exact reaction. You do not like me, even though it's not true. This will guide their interactions with you and potentially even their major. If you notice a drop-off with student participation or a student leaves the course altogether, you might have inadvertently reinforced their fear. Likewise, you can reinforce the power of care with consistency and updates. I always tell my students, here is when I'll have your work graded. Here is an update. I also share when I mess up and I apologize. If something goes wrong and a student points it out, I thank the student in front of everyone. Always tell someone what you're doing and hold yourself accountable. Students get the point. We are all in this together. So building connections builds comfort, and to my way of thinking, builds engagement and strength. Each communication matters to a student. Do not underestimate the truth. Also, what you did yesterday doesn't matter as much as the consistency with which you deal with each and every student and each and every day. Students frequently feel alone. Remember, they're sitting in front of a computer screen, and without any interaction from you, they are sure they are more alone than ever before. If you as the instructor and the students as collaborative learners interact, the feeling of loneliness is not so profound. Everything matters in relationship, doesn't it? Online relationship building is about consistency, and as Sinigula points out, quality. So how is the quality of your interactions, from words to support to timing? All of it matters. So, crafting relationships both in person and online is an art form. This infers you get better and better with consistent and ongoing focus on this element. Sometimes students go to great lengths to really figure out where they stand in terms of grades in your regard. Consider each student. Now begin with this point. What makes you as an individual feel valued? Do you think everyone is going to need and or want the same thing as you? Probably not. If I assume all students need the same thing, I know I will miss something very important. I need to be careful, so I start with a simple rule. I begin each communication with hi, Sue, or whatever the student's name is. Calling someone by name is an incredibly important part. It's powerful. Wouldn't you do that in an on-ground class? So why not online? I model this and call students on it personally if they do not do it with other students. Sinigula also encourages asking the student if their question is answered at the end of an email. If the student doesn't feel the question is answered, you have welcomed another email. So important and so telling about your relationship with your students. Each small step. Remember, Confucius said, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a small step. Small steps make relationships. So, let me summarize. Relationships take time and attention. Take the time not just with the curriculum, but the people. Students do learn better in positive and enriching environments. Trust takes time, but it won't grow if you do not try. Let the student know they matter. Each student in the class, not just the class as a whole. Select your words, provide your care and guidance, and do not ignore anyone. Miss something? Say, I am sorry. It can mean the world to a student. This might be a class you teach, but to the student, it is going to impact their life and their beliefs in online, courses in general, and lifelong learning in particular. So, my final thoughts. This is a great quote. Relationships never die a natural death. They are always murdered by attitude, behavior, ego, hidden benefits, or ignorance. Consider what this quote says about relationships. It is important to consider the impact that attitude, behavior, ego, hidden benefits, or ignorance have on the learning experience of our students. There is nothing more important than student experience, learning this topic, and then our guiding them to lifelong learning. Yes, it is true. Each experience, each class is helping to direct them either towards a life of learning or a decision to avoid learning experiences, graded and otherwise. We all factor into decisions our students make. Where do you stand with each student, each relationship, and the intentionality of both? I hope you've enjoyed this short presentation on being seen without being seen. I wish you all the best. Let me show you my references. And I wish you a great experience in learning. Thank you.